So here's my plan today. I want to have a little bit of fun. Basically, I love history, I love literature, and I love mythology. All those things kind of roll up together in the stories or the legends or the myths of the Greeks or slash Romans, the Greco-Roman deities, and of the Norse gods. And these of all the old-fashioned, say the old like pantheonic paganisms, polytheisms that used to exist and used to be really popular, those are the two champions. I mean, you'll occasionally hear somebody talking about Quetzalcoatl or the Native American, like Gaia, or like earth spirits and things like that. You'll occasionally hear stuff about those, but usually, if you hear anything about an now kind of defunct, what do you want to call it, pantheon, or like a now defunct legends, it's going to be either Norse or it's going to be Greek. And part of the reason for that, obviously, is the MCU. Thor is one of the chief major characters in that, but also you've got Disney bringing back Hercules soon, and then like these things are kind of big and they've been around a long time. And so a person recently asked me to settle the debate if Zeus of the Greeks and Odin of the Norse were to fight, who would win. And after kind of weighing some stuff, do they have their weapons? Does Zeus have the lightning bolt? Does Odin have Gungnir? And I think in just head to head like that, Odin wins 100% of the time. Just Zeus is more known for raping women as swans, quite frankly, than he is known for his combat prowess. And whenever combat comes up in the Greek legends or the Greek myths, it's either one of the demigods, Hercules or Adonis or Theseus, some of these that are like they're imbued with supernatural powers and things that are doing the combat, and they're using like god weapons or demigod weapons for sure. Or you have you have Ares, obviously the god of war, and then you've got Athena, the god of wisdom, that are engaged in combat. And if they're involved, that's different. So if, like, just quite honestly, like, you could even say that Zeus would be too busy chasing after Earth's women, even, than to say that he would be even interested in combat with, because he often would just kind of, he has more of the attributes, honestly, of Loki, of tricking people into, as well as his, like, Poseidon and Hades both, as well, like, they tend to have more of a trickster quality than they do a head-on violent capacity. They tend to trap people in their whims and things, and you really only see them really flexing on the humans, trapping them through tests and contests and puzzles and riddles and things. You really don't see them comparing one to another all that often. Like, you obviously, the women of the Greek myths tend to compare each other's beauty on a regular basis and things, but that's not combat. So if it's just head-on, one-on-one, I don't think there's any argument you could make that Odin, the Allfather, who destroyed the frost giants, I mean, sure that Zeus has the one major victory over the Titans, but you really can't credit that as much to himself, because he, again, basically tricked Cronus into eating him, and then got him from the way out. On the way out, him and Hades and Poseidon, like they teamed up together. That wasn't him on his own. So, yeah, like basically one on one, no way. On the other hand, if we're talking about pantheon versus pantheon, we're talking about all the Norse. You've got Thor, you've got Loki, you've got um, Hela, and you've got all of them over here on this side, Tyr and Heimdall. You got all of them over here, and then over here on this side, you've got Zeus and Athena and Ares, and like you've got all of them on this side. I still think the win goes to the Norse because you might not know this, but Marvel also has Hercules and Ares as primary characters. Ares, both of them have been Avengers at different times, and they're just not a match for Thor. And you could say, well, that's because they're not as popular, but no, like their power levels are simply not in the realm of Thor. Thor's more powerful. Like you could say they might be able to give up a decent fight, per se, against the Norse gods, and most of the Norse gods really wouldn't stand too much, whether that's Hermod or, like, they wouldn't have too much to throw into the battle either, but Thor on his own could probably take all of the Greek deities except for Athena, Artemis, Poseidon, Hades, and Zeus. And he might even be able to take Zeus on his own, just not Poseidon or Hades on his own. Like he could handle almost all of them just by himself. So if we're talking Pantheon versus Pantheon, a heavy favorite in the direction of the Allfather and Thor versus all of these. The only question is, what side would Loki fall on? And my wager would be that Loki hates Odin and Thor more than he is faithful to Asgard. And that he would be willing to betray he'd be willing to betray them more than he would be interested in fighting alongside of them. Now, obviously, there's been plenty of stories in which he has united with them for his own reasons. But in the instance of, like, let's say it's a world-ending cataclysm and whoever wins annihilates the other side, that he would definitely betray Odin by giving away his number one most important secret, and that is the Odin sleep. That he has to go into a completely unconscious state annually. That is something Zeus, none of the other gods have. They are awake all the time. They can see everything supposedly. Like, so they do not have that imminent weakness, and that when he's in that state, he's completely vulnerable. So Loki, passing that secret along, I guess you could say, to Zeus or whoever it would be, that, because Loki's done that multiple times, where he's let assassins into the throne room during the Odin sleep to try and assassinate Odin, and it's nearly succeeded almost every single time, except just do a Deus Ex Machina that allows Thor or Heimdall or someone to get in at the last minute and stop the attack. But if this is the case, that I'm pretty sure that Loki is the kind of the chink in the armor of the Norse, and that he is just a devastating weakness that unfortunately would hand the victory over to the Greeks, and that as a result it would end up being a Greek triumph in the end. So, summarize. If it's everyone versus anyone, or everyone all in all, then if it's a battle royale essentially, then it's probably going to the Greeks, even though the statistics are on the other side. But if it's one-on-one, Odin, 100%, all day long.